Hello, how's it going? It's been quite a few days since my last upload, but I wanted to speak on a different topic, I guess. Last time I did Reddit stories, but I want to speak on the topic of playing a role, Like in the sense that it's like you're acting a certain way for others, although it's at the expense of yourself. I've done that before, but I wanted to dive deeper on it. It's currently 9:53 a.m. on Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. So a couple of years ago, when I was pretty much slowly getting over my struggles, I realized, I kind of lost myself. And I didn't know it at the time, but I would do things to gain friends, just because I didn't really have anyone to talk to. So I played this role of being the nice guy, almost like a jester, I guess, in a sense. And I found it difficult to say no, just because I was in my own head about what somebody might think if I told them no. And telling them yes felt good because it made them happy, but I didn't realize it at the time, but it really wasn't healthy for me at all. If anything, the comparison of happiness I made someone feel and the distraught I made myself feel at the time was not even at all. I was just ignoring my feelings, and sometimes it'll all hit me all at once, and then I'd wonder why I'm struggling, even though I didn't even focus on myself whatsoever. This was around in the middle of 2024, I'm pretty sure. And then slowly and slowly, when I said no to the first time to somebody, I realized nobody actually really cares, because the people that do care, in my mind, aren't good people anyway. And that's an interesting fact, because once I started to quote unquote change, all the people I wouldn't want to be friends with now aren't friends with me anymore. They all just stopped being friends with me then. But then I realized, that's okay. But of course at the time I was a bit upset, but I realized the genuine people and the people that actually care about you won't care if you say no. They'll accept what you say and they'll understand. I mean, you pretty much offer something to somebody in any sense. It could be so simple, just one conversation could lead somebody to do something nice for you, or maybe you have something that they need in a sense, and the same goes for you. Maybe your friends have something to offer that you also need or want. Just hanging out with each other, you both of you guys are just spending each other's time on each other. And that's with any sense. If you're too busy spending all the currency that you have on somebody and it's not being returned, then that's not a friendship. You're just getting used. But at the time, when I was doing that, I didn't even realize that. I was just ignoring the feeling of being distraught, because all I cared about was making people feel good and being nice to people. But you can still be this nice person, this genuinely nice person and kind person. It's only really genuine when you're kind to yourself first. So for a while I took a step back from my friends and stuff, and I started focusing on myself and focusing on what I really wanted to do. Like somebody would ask me to play Rocket League, and usually 2 years ago I'd say yeah, but then I'd say yeah even though I didn't really want to. Now I don't have a problem in saying no, because I know I'm confident in my own skin to say no. Now that's a big thing as well. I used to be really heavy, and I think that also played a role, because I used to be 240 pounds, and I was also struggling with mental problems, and I didn't realize it at the time, but that also played into my insecurities. Once I slowly started shedding that weight, I realized it really was affecting me to a massive degree, and I didn't even know, because I was just putting it off to the side. I didn't think it was a big deal. The more I lost weight, the more and more I realized my emotions in a sense. Like as I lost weight, I started becoming extremely emotional. Just like remembering what I used to have when I wasn't struggling. And it all hit me at once. And then after that, that's when I started playing the nice guy because I was focusing on what I lost, and I wanted to gain some of that back. But in this life, it seems like you'd want quality over quantity with anything, or almost anything, especially with friendships, and even though it's so minimal, it could make somebody's day. I believe everything has a price. Like, your currency could mean so little to you, but to somebody, it could mean so much. And what I mean by currency, conversations, what you're good at, all those things. I don't mean the value of you in general. It's the value of what you can do. That's a big factor in what really shapes your life. But I'm kind of sidetracking here, but more on the playing the role topic I was meant to talk about. But yeah, I realized, after I said no for the first time, of course, it doesn't feel great because you're so used to saying yes and you just made somebody possibly disappointed. But I realized then, like, even though I felt bad in the moment, I'm glad I didn't say yes, because now I'm not in an uncomfortable position where I don't want to be in. And as time went on, I got more comfortable in saying no and truly being who I want to be. Like, I'd say I'm an introverted person. Like, I don't like to do a whole lot. And if the people that say that that's wrong or they're not happy with that, I think they just don't get me. And for the people that just question that, they also don't get me. But for the people that wonder why and they ask me, they're willing to understand. They're willing to understand, which is the people that I would really want to like hang out with. People that really understand, or at least attempt to understand without judgment. I mean, with anything, you're going to have some sort of judgment in your own mind already, but you don't want the judgment to overcloud your thoughts on somebody. You think about a general concept you have on somebody, like, oh, maybe this person is just really angry for no reason, but then that's also why I strive so much for the word of Sonder, because, maybe they're angry because they have so much they deal with. Maybe in reality, they just need somebody to be there for them, or somebody to talk to. I've realized this, like, along the lines, like, some people just need somebody to listen so they can just talk about all their problems and have somebody that actually listens to them, and it makes them feel a lot better because they feel heard. They don't even need like advice or anything. Somebody there just to be hearing them and them feeling heard. That's the most important thing in my mind. That's why therapy is such a recommended thing, but that doesn't really work usually in my mind, because you're not just going to walk up to some stranger with some sort of expertise and start telling them about all your problems, because you don't know those people. Like, you don't know that person. But when you speak to a friend, it's a lot more sincere and more open, because you know this person and it's more comfortable to speak to them instead of, let's say, somebody random. I'm not saying that a therapist is random. Like, you could build relationships with therapists because it's like a work environment for them. It just doesn't feel real. And honestly, my thoughts on therapy are kind of negative just for that sense. I mean, I'm also biased because I never went to therapy, and I kind of just leaned on my friends for things, and they do the same, and it works out because we're offering things to each other, and we both come out with wins, I guess, or even. When I start to ramble about these things, I get so off topic just because there's so much I want to say, but at the end of the day, you don't have to play a role, You can just be you, and the people that like you for you will feel a lot better than the people that like you for being nice, because it's actually you that they want to hang out with, not the nice version of you. And when you start saying no, you start being true to yourself, and you become so comfortable with yourself, you're able to almost live in solitude. And I think that's the main thing. The most desired people are the people that seem to live happily within themselves, just because it seems like they've got everything figured out. Well, I say everything, but at least in the sense of them being with themselves and not having a problem with doing that. If you're struggling with something, that's something else. That's not something you can control, right? You don't want to force yourself to live in a state that you're not actually able to live in. Like if you're struggling with depression right now, you literally just can't live in solitude because I bet the environmental factors are playing into how you feel and how you view things. But that's another topic for another video, I guess. I could speak on that if you guys would want me to as well. You know, my experience with that. But yeah, if you're somebody that doesn't really know who they're meant to be and they feel sort of lost, just listen to your gut, I guess. Don't listen to your mind. That sounds kind of dumb in a sense, but your mind can really influence you to do things you don't want to because, you know, in that situation I spoke of earlier, you know, you're so worried about people feeling good about you being nice to them. So then your mind tells you, okay, we gotta start doing that or keep doing that. But at the end of the day, it's hurting you. It's not helping you whatsoever. So then you have to realize, you know, maybe it's fine to just let go, you know. Letting go is always fine. You're not selfish for focusing on yourself because you're focusing on yourself so you can be genuine to others. That's the most important thing. And that's the thing that gets confused in my mind. You know, truly selfish people only live for themselves, you know. They don't care about others whatsoever. But at face value, it sounds similar to you just focusing on yourself, trying to say, or trying to have the ability to say no. But in any sense, since you start working on yourself, you know, you'll become so content with yourself that you're able to show all the kind things to everyone else more often. And without hurt too, because it's genuine and it's coming from you and what you really want to do. You know, I've struggled with that for so long, and for a while I built up the idea that it's wrong that I'm not doing things out of genuine feeling, like doing things for my own benefit. I felt really bad about, like, just being nice because it felt good and I seem like a good person. Just not good at all in my mind. It wasn't great at all for me. Then slowly I built up my own ideology, I guess, you know. I'm only gonna help somebody if it helps me, or I'm only gonna allow somebody to help me if it helps them, in a sense. Because, you know, I believe everything has a price. It doesn't matter how you pay in some sort of regard. And the price you pay for being nice to everyone else, it's not sufficient enough for yourself. Now, if you're freaking out like that I'm saying all this, that just means that you care a lot. Like, you have high care for whatever I'm saying. And this is just based on my experience, you know. You could have a totally different experience from me, but find some similarities or understand where I'm coming from. Although in my mind, you know, if you're worried about these things now, I do believe you're going to become a great person. I mean, that's also from bias because I would like to believe I'm a decent person. And, you know, if you do it the right way, you know, you'll end up becoming a genuine, kind person as well. You just have to be confident in your own skin, you know. You know what you're capable of. You know what you can offer to others. You know what's within your ability. You just have to be honest. And when you're honest, things become a lot easier to handle. And once you start being honest with yourself, you'll find it that it's really easy to start doing things you couldn't do prior. I couldn't even go outside to the store for years. And then once I stopped caring about that, and of course, I have social anxiety, or I had it to a high degree. When I was at my heaviest weight, of course, when I lost everything, I stopped caring about what people were saying when I lost all that weight, and I can go to the store easily now without care, without the fear of judgment, because, I mean, I live in my own world, I guess, you know. With the way things are for me right now, I don't really focus on what anyone else has to say. I'm just doing what I think is best for what I want in life, and I'm okay with, you know, people, you know, saying mean things to me. That's okay. They just don't understand where I'm coming from, and what my experiences were, and that's why I take things with a grain of salt for people like that, because, you know, what's the point in even, like, listening to them if they're not even willing to listen to you? I know this is like kind of a ramble, and like I spoke about a bunch of other things more so than the topic, but at the end of the day, you gotta realize no one's making you play this role. You don't have to be this kind person or this funny person or etc. You don't have to be somebody you don't want to be. And if you start being the person you're truly meant to be, you'll find that it makes things a lot easier to handle and to deal with and to do. You'll start living more content with yourself and realize, that really wasn't helping me. But of course, if you're dealing with that now, you're not going to realize it. And that's with anything, right? Once you look back on things that you've passed, you've realized all the signs were obvious, but when you're in it, it's not. Well, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk to you about today. It's currently 10:14 a.m. and I hope you have a good day. And thank you for listening to me if you've watched this far. If there's any topic you want me to talk about, any experience that I've had that you want to hear about or my opinion on anything, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.